Hey, what's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? It's your dog, Toddy, checking in with a real quick video. And before we get to the business, let's get the commercials out the way. As you come in or as you watch the video, I should say, make sure that you do like the video. Make sure that you do subscribe and also share the video as well if you don't mind. Now, let's get straight to the business, man. As we all know, Trey Lance was recently traded to the Dallas Cowboys for actually a fourth round pick. Trey Lance was traded to the Cowboys for a fourth round pick. Now, we're not here to talk about Trey Lance going to the Cowboys, of course. We're here to talk about it looks like the Falcons were actually in this Trey Lance. I don't want to say a sweepstakes, but it looks like they were actually really pursuing him behind the scenes. Now, not long ago, I think it was actually last month in July, here on this channel, we actually did a live stream where we talked about the possibility of the Falcons going after Trey Lance. And here's a brief segment of it.
Again, hypothetically, but you don't make them. You don't take it serious until week 5. When we get closer to that trade deadline, maybe, because obviously I don't think he's the type of player that's going to be some savior. But I think we could benefit from him being in the room, competing with Dez, and having a true QB.
All right, so we actually talked about it as you saw here on Atlanta Bird Game a little bit over a month ago. The possibility of the Falcons trading for Trey Lance, and we actually we breached that subject based on Twitter rumors. We breached that subject based on things that we saw on Twitter. And before we go into the Twitter rumors, let's go back in time a little bit. Prior to the 2021 draft, there were also a lot of chatter going on in Falcons land about the head coach, Arthur Smith, and the general manager, Futno, kind of being at odds on who should be the first pick. Obviously, the first pick ended up being Kyle Pitts, but based on what we were hearing, Fontenot wanted Trey Lance. He wanted a quarterback, namely Trey Lance. So now that Trey Lance eventually ended up on the trading block, it does make a lot of sense when you start connecting the dots that Fontenot would probably circle around, reach out to San Francisco, and see what kind of compensation they were looking for. See if he could maybe come back and now get Pitts and Trey Lance. And, he may look at that like that's a win-win. Arthur Smith got the guy he wanted, and now I'm coming back to get the guy that I wanted as well. And going back to that Twitter rumor, the Twitter rumor started here, right here on this tweet that we're looking at currently. This is where the Twitter rumor initiated from. And I'm going to also read this as well. This comes from CJ Golson, by the way. It says breaking. Per source, the Atlanta Falcons reached out to San Francisco 49ers on Monday, inquiring about the availability of quarterback Trey Lance. I'm told that while nothing is imminent at the time, San Francisco has been discussing the possibility of trading Lance internally. Now look at the date here. If you can see it, it does say July 11, 2023. So that's well over a month ago. And again, that came from CJ Golson. Now, immediately, not long after that, he came back and he tweeted, he also tweeted another tweet regarding that we're going to look at right here. This is the second tweet that he made about the subject. It says breaking. Per source, the Atlanta Falcons have offered a conditional second-round pick to the San Francisco 49ers for quarterback Trey Lance. I'm told the 49ers are expecting to fill other offers from around the league and want to help do what's best for Lance in his camp. Now, he shared this one the very next day. So this came out the very next day. And I will admit, this guy got a lot of bad feedback from these tweets. Everybody at the time thought he was reaching, including myself. I kind of like, I don't know about this, man. Even though we covered it on the channel, Back in my mind, I'm thinking, I don't know about this. We just committed to Desmond Ritter. We got Taylor Heineke. What in the world would we want to trade for Trey Lance for? You know, why? So he got a lot of bad feedback about it. And obviously, Trey Lance ended up getting traded to the Cowboys for a fourth round pick. Now, it's another tweet that I want to share with you guys. This comes from Benjamin Albright. The tweet we're looking at now comes from Benjamin Albright. And Benjamin Albright here, um, he's a NFL insider, um, pretty reputable guy. A lot of people follow him. A lot of things that he say or tweet, is covered in the mainstream media. He's a mainstream media guy. As you see, he has almost 172,000 followers. Benjamin Albright. So Benjamin Albright recently tweeted this. The caption said it goes down in the text. And this is what he tweets out. This is a text between him and Ryan Edwards, another NFL inside guy. It says Atlanta, Baltimore, and Dallas have already called about Trey Lance. Let's read that tweet again. Atlanta, Baltimore, and Dallas have already called about Trey Lance. And you see they're talking about other teams in this tweet also. And this, he tweeted this out on what date was this? Looks like August 25, August 25th. August 25th. Almost, well, we'll just say a month and a half after CJ Golson put it out. Almost a month and a half. Then it now is in the mainstream media. Almost a month and a half after CJ tweeted it out, the mainstream media finally gets a hold of Atlanta being involved in this Trey Lance sweepstakes after the fact. Now, I will say this. Now that the dust is kind of settled on this, I will say that what CJ tweeted out initially was probably factual for the most part. I think the part that was obviously inaccurate, now I'm looking at it from really a hindsight point of view, was the compensation package. I really think Fontenot probably did offer something. He probably offered a fifth or sixth rounder, maybe a seventh rounder. Who knows? So he probably did have an offer on the table for Trey Lance, which obviously the 49ers declined and they traded him to Dallas for a fourth rounder. But to reiterate, I think CJ, now that, like I say, the dust has settled, I think CJ Golson was pretty accurate on what he said. He probably had the compensation wrong, but he was definitely in the right direction to say the Falcons are talking to the 49ers about the possibility of trading for Trey Lance. Now the mainstream media is covering it. Somebody told me yesterday that it was on Bleacher Report. So now the big media companies are covering it when a somewhat obscure guy on Twitter really broke the Atlanta part of this story back in July, back in mid-July. So shout out to CJ Golson, shout out to him because he was the first person that I saw that really put this out there in the airwaves. But either way, Trey Lance does not come to Atlanta. You can now, we could also at this point ask ourselves, how confident are they really in Desmond Ritter? If they're still out there talking or trying to make deals to bring in other quarterbacks. I also saw something that said they were having conversations about Kyler Murray. So how confident is this front office really in Desmond Ritter if they're still obviously searching for other quarterbacks? Makes you think, makes you wonder, and it's definitely something to talk about. But let me know your thoughts, everybody. I'm real interested to hear y'all opinions on this. The Atlanta Falcons were trying to trade for Trey Lance. Do you think we should have maybe gave a third round pick and up the ante on Dallas. Like, look, y'all are offering a fourth rounder. We'll give y'all a third rounder. Do you think Trey Lance at this point is worth a third rounder? Or do you feel like, look, Atlanta did the right thing by only offering maybe a fifth, sixth, or seventh rounder? We're not in dire need of a quarterback, and obviously Trey Lance isn't a good quarterback, you know. So tell me your thoughts about this. The Atlanta Falcons trying to trade for Trey Lance, and he obviously goes for Dallas. Let's really discuss this. Let's have a discussion in the comments about this. And also, if you like the video, if you enjoy the content we provide here on Atlanta Bird Game, make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel and also like the video. As always, I'll see y'all the next time I see y'all.